All right, we're live. Welcome, everyone. Good to be here with you. Good to see some of you. I haven't seen you in a little while. So hope you're doing well. I trust you are. I trust you're still releasing. And that's the key. Now, I scheduled this group call as a reminder and as a pick-me-up, mostly as a reminder of what we must do with this method. See, Lester, he was brilliant, and Lester was a scientist. And the brilliant thing that Lester did in his approach to self-realization was taking a scientific approach. See, what Lester determined is that I only know what I can prove, not just what I know in my mind, not just what I believe to be true, not what I've heard other people say, even masters, but what can I demonstrate? What can I prove? And that's what's real. And so as Lester went down his path to self-realization, his attitude was prove it. And that's brilliant because I see a lot of people, too many. I mean, the vast majority of people on the spiritual path falling into a trap of knowing all about it, being experts on the topic, and being able to give you all the right answers, but they can't prove it. They can't demonstrate what all the great ones do. They could talk about it, and they could just talk about being in a peaceful place, but they can't demonstrate it. How much peace do they really have if they have a bunch of garbage showing up as blocks and limitations? So as long as we take this approach, we know we're knocking down these limitations, that we are removing the garbage and not just saying it, but actually doing it. And I know some people will say, well, fake it till you make it. But faking it will only take you so far. I mean, faking it, it's better than being dejected, being demoralized, but you got to quickly pick up your pace and prove it, not just fake it, but prove it. So this is why Lester always recommended setting goals and achieving goals, because when you achieve a goal, then you know, okay, I'm not faking it. There's a goal. It showed up. It's tangible. And as you release, you discover that the goals that you demonstrate, the good things that you create, falls right in correlation with the releasing that you do, with the clarity that you have. And basically what your goals lead you towards is finding you. And you're finding that you are in charge of everything. You're in complete control of your whole life, your whole world. And you could just think and have things happen. That's basically what a goal leads you to, is just being able to decide. Decide I'm a millionaire. Decide I'm having this. Deciding my body is a certain way. And just making that decision, you see the change happen because of your decision. And that leads you to saying, well, who am I? Who's in charge of everything? Who am I who can do everything effortlessly? So that's why goals are good. And let's see, we got more people still coming in. Good. And what goals will do is basically give us a reality check. Because here's the thing. Some of us will say, well, goals are in the wrong direction. They lead us to materiality. They lead us back into the ego. In fact, when I did my last video that I put up on YouTube, I was talking about setting tangible goals for freedom. Because a lot of us, we just do very general goals. Allow myself to be free, allow myself to be realized, allow myself to be all loving. But we don't have any clarity on what that is, and we have no real measure to be accountable for, to know that we have achieved it. How do we know how free we are? Right? It's just something that's ambiguous. So in that video, I was talking about, some of these things, like let's just talk about, demonstrate it, prove it out. You set some benchmarks where you can see the effect and you can measure your progress. And I had a couple people email me and say, oh, well, it's wrong to make goals about freedom because you're already free. It's like, okay, yeah, you're right. In fact, I said, you're already free. And then you just have to wait until it just falls in on you. Wait a minute, you just contradicted yourself. Are you already free? Or are you waiting for it to happen? And if we're not accountable, we could just be in this state of, oh, everything's peaceful and free, but not be able to be in command of your life, not be able to demonstrate that power of imperturbability, of where you're completely present and you're completely the owner. And when it comes to setting goals for freedom, now, of course, these people are right. You are already free. The difference is that you don't see it. You are blinded to it. You have programs, illusions that are blocking your vision. And you have to take responsibility for that. It's not what you say, it's what you can prove. So we can go by the notion of saying, okay, you're already free. You don't have to do anything. Well, that's great. But if you continue wandering around in a sea of limitations, how free are you? Now, Lester pointed out that if you want to reach the effortless state, you must put in some effort. And there's no way around that because you put that barrier up in the first place. And yes, you're already free, but you got to knock that barrier down. And that will initially seem to take effort. That will take some dedication, some focus, working on goals. But as you use the method, as you use goals, you'll start knocking these barriers down and you'll prove it. You'll have your gains. You'll be able to check those gains off. And as you continue working on goals, you're eliminating all that negativity out of your mind that you put in, that has been diluting you, keeping you, in a state of like a dreamlike state, instead of just waking up. So you got to move forward and wake yourself up. And that's what Lester and all the masters have all told us. And they all have had different ways of doing it. Lester has the 6 steps. Buddha had the eightfold noble path. Amma, the hugging saint, she has mantras. She has other meditations that are very powerful. All masters give you tools, but you have to put the dedication in and do it yourself. And of course, when you knock it all out, you'll see that nothing ever changed. You're always a master. But that's the key. You got to see it. Now, the good news is when you work on goals, you lift yourself up permanently, up and up and up. And eventually you'll get to a place where, like Lester said, you just think and have things happen. Now, this year, even though we've had a very crazy year, personally, I set a lot of goals this year. I focused in. I really concentrated myself. And this year has been my most successful and productive and uplifting year in all areas of my life. And I've had all sorts of freedoms. Now, this year, throughout the year, I've had some amazing classes, and that was an intention. And I set the classes up starting from last springtime to be very powerful and very necessary for what's going on. We did you know, a course on finding your life's purpose, and we did a course on wealth manifestation, and they're like stepping stones. And we had a whole group of people just take these steps and really get in a good place. And so the classes are great. And I set goals for money, even though everything's supposed to be crazy, where everybody's out of work, the economy's falling apart. And throughout this year, I've had money coming from everywhere. And then I've even had surprises fall into my lap. I've had a great friend come and collaborate to create this money alchemy course that we're doing now, which is fantastic. And right now, we just went into a new lockdown here in the Netherlands just this week. And it came to me by surprise. It was on Monday, I stopped by a friend's house. I was going to invite them over, a couple of my Dutch friends here in Amsterdam, over for dinner sometime before Christmas. And they said, well, we'll have to see. They're supposed to make a big announcement this evening, further lockdown measures. I was like, ooh, I didn't know about that. And then I started thinking, oh, well, they're going to close the salons and everything again. And I'm overdue for a haircut. And they're going to be locked down for 5 weeks. I'm already overdue for a haircut. My hair grows really fast. And when that gets beyond a certain length, I turn into like, wow, love it. It just like turns into this big mushroom on my head. So I was like, gee, that's not going to be fun. But in 2 seconds, I decided I'm not going to be bothered by it. I just let go of any feelings I had just right there on the spot. Just got into a place of hootlessness about it. And then from there, I decided, well, why do I want to have long hair anyway? I'll find a solution. And I just left it at that. I didn't even give it a second thought. That was Monday. Then yesterday, I had a friend of mine, just out of the blue, a friend who's a hairdresser, messaged me and said, hey, you need a haircut? He came over today and cut and colored my hair. So as you work on goals, you knock out these limitations, and you get to a place where any master can do this. Just think and have things happen. So going back to my video that I was talking about, the last video that I have up on YouTube, it's important to work on goals and have tangible benchmarks, not just a goal for freedom, not just a goal for financial independence. What does that mean? How do you know when you're there? And how do you give yourself accountability for knowing you're moving towards having it? Other than, oh, I think I am, or I'm a little bit lighter. I mean, that's good. But how about having it show up? So we're going to take a look at that this evening and give you a jump start on your goals and a clear path in moving forward. But first, let's do a little guided meditation, or a cleanup, as we sometimes call it. Now, what I was talking about before, see, if you don't have an attitude of, I only know what I can demonstrate or what I can prove, then you leave yourself susceptible to letting your ego rationalize where you're at and rationalize about freedom and peace, where you know all about it, but you don't intimately know it. And in that last video, one of the benchmarks for moving yourself forward and keeping yourself accountable, something that Lester always recommended using, is the emotional scale, the pyramid of emotions here, just seeing where you're at. And even those of us who do a lot of spiritual practice, if we're honest with ourselves, we can find ourselves still in apathy in areas of our life. See, it's all about what we demonstrate. Sometimes we are so stuck in some areas. If we look, we'll see there's apathy there. But we can find ourselves in grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. And of course, we move up and down this chart all the time, but we see there's an area where we typically hang out at most of the time. And as we release, as we use the method, we could see that place where we hang out generally move up and up and up. So let's do some releasing on this, on all of these feelings. So we could be more open to them, seeing them in us. Even if we generally hang out in courageousness, acceptance, and peace, we are genuinely in a good place. If we don't clean up all the stuff, it's going to pull us back. So let's explore for ourselves. So close your eyes. And just take a moment to get nice and settled. Let your mind go quiet. An easy way to do that right now is just by focusing on your breath. Just watch your breath for a moment. Just breathing normally, but with awareness. Notice all the sensations right now as you breathe in and breathe out and in and out. And as you watch your breath, just let the noise in your mind settle down and down and down. And feel yourself in now, 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 now. Now see if there's anything that's bothering you that's going on right now. Maybe it's with the lockdowns. Maybe it's with people getting sick. Maybe it's with the politics. You're letting the politics get you sick. And whatever it is that's bothering you right now, as you're just sitting there following along, it's none of your concern. Right now is now. You're just sitting here watching a video. What does that even matter? And what is that right now as you're sitting here anyway? It's just a sound in your head. Your mind's making noise. Grumble, grumble, complain, complain. Or it's working really hard trying to figure out a way out of this mess. It's just like a hamster on a wheel. It's going nowhere. It's just spinning and spinning and spinning. So as you're watching your breath, just transition to watching your mind. Just watch it. Don't take any of it seriously. You're just sitting here listening to a video, just listening to me talk to you. And that mind is also talking to you, but don't react to it. Don't make it wrong. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to shove it back down. Get out of here. I'm trying to be quiet. Just notice it. Just watch it. Watch. 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 Just watch your mind talking to you. It'll always have something to talk about, but just watch it. And notice who you are, who's watching it, who you are that mind is talking to. And can you really put a finger on who you are and where you are? That part of you that's just watching your mind, that doesn't have a body, a face, a name, a history, doesn't have preferences, no good or bad. It's just a watcher. It's just pure presence. And notice that part of you has always been present your whole life. All the ups and downs, you were there just watching it. And here you still are. And that part of you has never changed. Now, of course, that's the part of you that's free right now. But you also have a mind that's talking to you and sometimes takes over, convinces you you're limited. So what are you going to do about that? You're going to rationalize about it? Or are you going to take charge? Because who's that mind talking to? Is it talking to the crowd? Is it talking to everybody? If it was, then it might be easy to say, "Whoa, that thing is in charge. It's like the overlord." No, but it's only talking to you. So maybe you're the owner. Why give your power away to that thing? That thing that's not even interested in freedom. That thing that really doesn't want you to be happy. It wants you to be dependent on it. But just notice who you are. And what is your decision? Are you going to keep yourself dependent on that sound in your head? Or do you decide to just wake up? So you got to just start taking it out. Now think about that thing that's bothering you, that's going on in the world. Think about that again. Now, instead of getting wrapped up in the noise that's in your head, just put your head down. Keep your eyes closed. Put your head down towards your stomach or chest. And as you think about that problem in the world, notice if you have a tightness, a contracted sensation in your stomach or chest. Right? Wherever you feel that tension, open up an imaginary door right in front of it. It's just bottled up energy there. Open up a door and watch that energy go out the door now. Just imagine it going out the door. And let it go out the door some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And even more. And welcome up some more energy. See if you've been suppressing, sitting on a bunch of energy about this problem. And you know you are, when your mind just keeps getting activated about it, you're worried, keep thinking about it. How am I going to get in control of this? How do I stop whatever's going on? Well, it's not going to stop because you keep putting energy into it by suppressing it. Right? Just welcome that energy up. Allow that energy to arise. And watch it go out that door. And more. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And notice how you feel now. Do you genuinely feel less bothered? Freer? Lighter? And that's the part of you that's becoming apparent now. The part of you that knows you're free, that knows there's no problem, nothing to figure out, nothing to change. Because you could have it as you wish. And it's instant, it's easy, and effortless. Right? It's just a silent knowingness, and it feels good. Now, it doesn't take much to bring this part of you out and have a wonderful, harmonious life full of abundance and love. But you have to take responsibility. And one thing you could start taking responsibility for are those feelings. Now, Lester rightly pointed out that all feelings are programs. Are they not? I mean, if they weren't programs, then two people that would go through the same situation would have the exact same feelings about it. But people go through different situations with different feelings, with different stories, and with different results. So it's only a program that says, I see something that looks dangerous and I have fear. Why should you have fear? Even if there's something dangerous, why not courageousness? Huh, why not even just anger? Maybe you can punch your way through it, but it's not fear. So it's just a feeling, a program that you put into the mind. That's all the feelings are, just programs. And you put them all in there. And let's take a look at apathy. If you put it in there, what do you use apathy for? Just take a look. Maybe use it to play weak, so somebody will leave you alone. Maybe you use it so you don't get noticed. Maybe you use it to numb yourself out. And what thinking runs in your mind that comes out of apathy? What's the use? There's nothing I can do about it. I'm too small. I'm too weak. Why bother? I have too much negativity. I've tried working on goals. I didn't get results. I can't do it by release. I got to find another way. Where do you think that's coming from? So take a look at how you use apathy. And see if you've been saying no to that apathy. You've been fighting with it. I mean, it's not a great feeling. And of course, who wants to be in apathy or admit that you have apathy? Right? We live in the Instagram age where you got to show your life is perfect and you have it all together, right? Right. So we deny the apathy. Basically, we all say no to it. All these feelings we don't like. Now, when you say no to the apathy, does it make the apathy go away? Of course not. It just cements it there. So let's do something radically different. Look at that apathy you have. And maybe you can measure it. You could feel it. Measure that apathy right now on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most apathetic, stuck, numb, who gives a damn. So 10 being the most and 0 being the least. Maybe you just have a little bit, but just see where you're at. Now, instead of saying no, look at that apathy and just say yes to that apathy. That's it. YES. And could you say yes to that apathy a little bit more? And could you say yes to it even more? And more. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And say yes to it some more. And more. And more. And could you let go of wanting to be separate from the apathy? We do it that in a lot of ways. We deny it, we push it down, we save it for later. Can't deal with you now. I got important stuff to do. I can't have apathy. We sweep it under the rug and save it for later. All right. So could you let go of wanting to be separate from the apathy? Could you let go of wanting to be separate from that feeling? And a little bit more, and a little bit more, and more, and more, and even more. Now, could you surrender to the apathy? Just open yourself up. Give yourself permission to be vulnerable to it. Move towards the apathy. Just a feeling. It's not going to bite you. Right? Surrender to the apathy some more and more and more and more and even more and even more. All right, now measure yourself again and see if that number dropped and see if you feel bigger than the apathy. Notice a difference. It's just one of the things that you can do to take this stuff out. Every time you see it, the more you take it out, the more it's gone permanently. Now let's take a look at grief. And what do you use grief for? You ever use it to make people feel sorry for you so you can indulge in your poor me story? Maybe it has you going around wanting to change things, usually from your past, that you can't possibly change. So you just walk around grieving it. Oh, I wish that didn't happen. All right, so what do you use grief for? Now get in touch with your grief and measure whatever it is that you're in touch with on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most grief and 0 being the least. And can you see when you're not discriminating, when you're just letting your mind run you, it goes right into saying no to that grief. Oh, I hate you, grief. Get out of here. And when you say no to the grief, does that make the grief go away? Does that do anything to make you feel better? So let's do the opposite. Look at that grief. Say yes to the grief. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And some more. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And some more. And welcome up that grief. Let go of wanting to be separate from it. Just allow that grief to arise. Even if it feels like you just pulled the cork from a whole big bottle of it and it wants to gush out, don't hold back. Right? Just let that grief spill out. Just a feeling. It's just your mind messing with you, saying, I can't handle what just happened. Woe is me. And what do you need that for? What does that have to do with love and life? Being in grief. Now, a lot of us, we rationalize it. Oh, it enriches the soul. That's just your mind messing with you. It's just a program, a feeling that your mind is throwing at you. Doesn't mean anything. But of course, we got to be egos. We got to be special. So we make something special out of it. And then we fight to defend it. I've had other spiritual teachers argue with me about fighting for these feelings. No, they're important. You can't let go of your feelings. Okay, we'll try it to see what happens, see where it takes you. So welcome up the grief, let it go. Just let it go out that door. And say yes to the grief so it'll come up. And let that grief leave right on out the door. And more. And more. And more. And more. And how does that feel? Measure yourself again. See if that number dropped. And what happened? Did you lose anything? Or are you gaining a sense that there never was a problem? You were never alone. That you're never lacking. Even if it's just a little sense. Just notice. Now let's take a look at fear. Get in touch with some fear. Maybe you have fear about all the crazy stuff that's going on this year. And for those in the US, there's a fear of a civil war, of the wrong people being in charge. And that just doesn't go for the US. It goes for a lot of places around the world right now. Letting them take over. And bring up that fear. Why should you be in fear? Why should you let fear run you? Is that going to help you make effective decisions? Is that going to help you live your life? And what is it? It's just a feeling. Now, see if you've been saying no to that fear. A lot of us like to do that. And obviously, that doesn't make the fear go anywhere. So let's do something different. Just say yes to that fear. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And never mind the story. Never mind those consequences. Just look at the fear, the feeling. Just say yes to that. And say yes to that fear some more. Just a feeling. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And say yes to the fear some more. And more. And more. And even more. And how does that feel? Find yourself rising above the fear. Feeling lighter. Now let's take a look at lust. And what do you use lust for? Are you using it to hold on to something you think makes you happy? And you fight to hold on to that happiness that you get out of it, like Gollum holding on to the one ring, my precious. That's why lust gets us into trouble. And we can't achieve certain goals like losing weight or being more healthy because we have so much lust. I can't hold on, let go of this chocolate cake. It makes me so happy. And lust, it's just a feeling. And see, you've been fighting with it. Say no to it. And what does that do? It makes it stronger. So even though it might seem counterintuitive, say yes to the lust and watch what happens. Just say yes to it. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And more. And some more. And even 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 more. And more. And even more. And say yes to the lust some more. And see if it has as much power over you now as it did a few moments ago. Feel more clear and centered and above the lust. And that's a happier place to be. Let's take a look at anger. How do you use anger? Do you use it to lash out on others? Do you use it as some bizarre way to protect yourself? Of course, the more you use anger, the more it backlashes upon you. That's called karma. And karma is just pure physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Anger's not the answer. So bring up your anger. And chances are you've been saying no to it. Maybe necessarily to keep it down, because if you let all your anger come out, boy, you'd get yourself into some hot water, wouldn't you? If you let all your anger out, you might go full on Jeffrey Dahmer. So, got to keep it suppressed, under control, but it doesn't go anywhere. So say yes to that anger and watch what happens. Say yes to it some more. And some more. And say yes to it some more. And more. And more. and more. And just say yes to the anger some more and more and more. And how do you feel now? More in control? So you are. When you let the anger come up and let it leave without reacting to it. See, when you lash out, it's just reacting to that anger. You're trying to fight with it as it's coming up, and that's what causes you to lash out. But if you just welcome it up nice and easy, it just leaves. It's just a feeling and it's gone. No problem. Now let's take a look at pride. What do you use pride for? Tarita, you told us you were using pride. And we all are, especially what's going on with all the politics. Everybody needs to be right. Everybody's looking for things to go their way so they can prove themselves right. It's just pride. And how does that help you? Eventually, it makes you wrong. Now, bring up your pride. And could you just say yes to that pride? And could you say yes to it some more? And some more. And more. And more. And even more. And let go of holding on to an identity. What do you need it for? It's just a story. Where's that story coming from? That identity that you have, your name, your story, that identity that you're really fighting on to hold on to. That's why we want to live to forever. So we keep our story going, this identity. It's very important. We work really hard to cultivate it. But where's all that information of that identity coming from? In your mind. And it's all pure fiction. So just let that go. Say yes to it. And let that story evaporate and dissolve. And let it dissolve some more. And some more. I think one of the scariest concepts for a lot of us is the concept of selflessness. It almost feels like you wouldn't have any free will. You'd be a slave to everybody else if you're selfless. But selfless is having no identity. It's a very joyous place to be. And you'll see if you would just let go of that identity. So just let it evaporate some more. And all of your limitations and all of your problems are all wrapped up in that identity. It's like an all-in-one bundle. So let the whole bundle go. Let it dissolve some more. And some more. And some more. And some more. And how do you feel? Better? More alive? And this is just a taste. You have no idea how deep this goes. until you decide to take those steps to find out, just like Lester did. He decided, not only am I going to prove it, but that which I've already have proven, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to settle for just a piece of the pie. I'm going to go for the whole thing. Now let's take a look at courageousness. See, it takes courageousness to make a decision like that. Now get in touch with courageousness. And see if you've been saying no to courageousness. Maybe some days you just feel lazy, or you feel like procrastinating. Oh, I'll put it off. I'll be courageous another day. Or I don't want to stick my neck out. See, you got one of your other feelings still pulling on you, fear or something. And then it's got your mind working against you, saying no to courageousness, telling you to do that. Right? Well, you take charge. Can you let that go? Now, could you say yes to courageousness? Just decide, I don't care what happens. I'm moving forward without fear or hesitation. I don't care if I make a mistake. I don't care if I mess everything up and get it all wrong. So what? I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to do it anyway. Can you say yes to courageousness some more? And some more. And some more. And it takes courageousness to keep you releasing consistently, working on your goals. I'm not going to let my ego discourage me, saying that all these goals are stressing me out. They're too difficult. I'm not getting anywhere. I just end up beating myself up. I don't care. I'm going to keep releasing until I get over that stuff, until I get on a roll, until I get to where I'm imperturbable. So that takes courageousness, not to have your ego deter you. Can you say yes to courageousness some more? It's also saying yes to thinking big. See, a lot of us, even though we say we want to be free, and we talk about freedom, and we talk about how we're on the spiritual path, if we're really honest with ourselves, we don't want it. Some of us, we secretly don't really think we can get there. Well, at least the thought is more comforting, so we just play pretend. But deep in our heart, we're not seeing ourselves there this lifetime. And then we rationalize, oh, it'll just happen when the time is right. Well, time is right when you so decide. Can you get bigger than that? Just get courageous and say, I'm going all the way this life. I'm going all the way this year. Could you say yes to courageousness? Can you walk the path of courageousness? What do you have to lose? All right, now let's take a look at acceptance. See if you've been saying no to acceptance. I know a lot of people are saying no to accepting Donald Trump or accepting Joe Biden, right? And we have a lot of reasons to rationalize it. He's evil, whatever. He's crooked. So what? Why do you want to walk around with all that negativity? If you say yes to acceptance, you get to walk around with love. Which would you prefer? So could you say yes to acceptance? See, here's the truth about love. You can't love one and not another. So just think about this. If you can't love Donald Trump, how could you love your own family? And we rationalize it. But all the masters have told us the same message. Love thy enemy, love thy neighbor. And we still don't. We still talk about them. We still judge them. And some of us rationalize with Lester's words. Oh, well, Lester said loving doesn't mean being stupid. Yeah, but he flat out said love. Keep it simple. So let go of rationalizing about it. Just love. But can you say yes to acceptance? And more. And more. And more. And just be loving. Who cares what happens? Don't worry about not being stupid. Just love. Even if it makes you stupid. So what? Love anyway. Just love. And love a little bit more. And let yourself love. And how's that feel? Just to love. For no reason other than for the sake of love. Now, can you say yes to peace? A lot of us aren't. We're choosing to hold on to the noise instead. We're saying no to the peace. And could you say yes to it? Just say yes to peace. And say yes to it some more. And some more. And say yes to the peace some more. And some more. And more. And notice the quiet. Notice the peace that's around you right now. You're swimming in an ocean of peace. Of course, there might be other noise and other objects in the ocean of peace. But the ocean of peace is right here, right now. And it goes on forever in every direction. So surrender to the peace right now. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. All right. How do you feel overall? Do you feel a little bit more of your real self? Now, this part of you has nothing to do with those feelings. Just in a place of isness. And love isn't even a feeling, it's just a feeling of isness. All right. So when you're ready, you can allow your eyes to open. And I'd like to hear from you. How are you doing? Who'd like to share? Who'd like to check in? Tarita, I see you.
Hi, Chris.
And
Can
let
you
me
hear
turn
me?
up the volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Ah, so thank you for the wonderful cleanup. Uh, so lots of progress. I have been releasing for last 3 years, but again, I was running away from the goals because goals were so, I had this picture that goals is something for others, not for me. And I finally started working on my goal last 6 months back. And every bit of shit is coming out and all kind of fears. And the underlying program is that I can't have it. So every morning I wake up with the same thing, my mind telling me I'm going to fall flat on my face. You cannot have it. You're just going to fail. And every day I do it, some part of it, and I'm closer to my goal. I
Mm.
still don't have it, but I realize that a lot of this uh, desire not to fail is so that in order to avoid not to fail, stay in the shit where you are. That's
Mhm.
what I've been changing, and it has been bringing a lot of fear, lot
Good,
of
good.
fear.
So that's a problem that we all have. This is something that we're looking at in the Money Alchemy course is this aversion to failing. It's like, because it shows up when we like think about trading,
Hmm.
because it's like, I only want to make winning trades, winning bets all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it keeps you, at the most playing small.
Yes.
If you could only do something that you could win, instead
Yeah.
of being courageous, really sticking your neck out there
Yeah.
and opening yourself up to winning big.
Yeah.
And what is it? The failure. It's just a
You
judgment that you
told.
have, right?
Yes.
What what's good or bad or right or wrong about it? It's
Yes.
just a result. And we choose to call it failure.
Mm-hmm.
And Lester
Yes.
pointed out, it's better to take action, even if it's the quote unquote wrong action, than no action at
Yes.
all. Because
Yes.
even if you take action, you're going to get a result. And a lot of people use this analogy about a plane that flies across the Pacific Ocean, right? So we're flying from California to Hong Kong. Now, the plane sets a course, the destination, but all along the way, it's making like 1,000 corrections because it's going this way and then it has to steer back and the wind pushes it. And it's constantly correcting in order to get there. And that's what it is. Every time we just take a step, take some action, we're moving in a direction, and then we can see the result and go, okay, well, let's correct it. Let's go this way. And this is why goals are good, because even if you don't get the result, get the goal per se, you get a result. And that leads you to what are correct about it. So
Yeah.
what is it that is programming you about the failure? You said fear?
Mm. Now it's more of like now I'm comfortable with it because when I start working on it, on my concepts, on my work, my mind says, whatever you do, it's not worth it. And I release it and I start it. But then I realized that I've been working on this money goal just to have money. I know I'm 100% there, but to have that money is bringing a lot of fear. So
Okay.
having my goal, because I'm
Well,
so
that's the only
used
thing
to of
that's
not
stopping you.
having goal.
Sometimes that's just the last little bit you have to let go of, and it's right there in front of your nose,
Yes.
right? So can you let go of holding on to the fear? Bring it
Yes.
up. Welcome up the fear, all of it.
Yes.
What would it take to let all of the fear go?
I shouldn't fall. I have a picture like I'm holding something really tightly. It's fear because that's what I'm used to of.
Okay, well, you just told me you're holding it. You're doing it.
Yes.
Now, if I put a hot piece of metal in your hand that's been sitting in the fire, glowing red hot, would you sit there, hold on to it, try to figure it out?
No.
Or you would just release it immediately?
I'll release it immediately.
right? You can release any of these feelings immediately.
Yes.
A lot of us have an excuse. I'm working on it. Oh, there's a lot there. It's going to take time. Garbage. No matter how big it seems to be. If you decide, I'm letting it all go, and I don't care. I don't care if it takes me 10 years to let it all go. I'm going to let it all go.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep working on until it's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Be surprised at how fast you can let it all go.
Yeah.
But you have
Yes.
to decide.
I
That's
decide.
what I'm doing.
I decide
And see,
to
this is
let it
a
go.
tangible thing. You can prove it to yourself. I could drop all my fear. I could be fearless,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, just get a picture of that destination.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine letting it all go and being in a place of total fearlessness, courageousness.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that? Can you see what
It's way
you would
at the
be like,
moment.
how you would feel?
Mm. Let me sit like that. Mm. Yes.
You know it. You know what it could be like.
Yeah.
And you know what you have to do.
Yes.
In order to really be there, not just talk about it, but live it, you got to bring up your fear.
Yes.
Drop it. So bring it up.
Yes. A lot of it.
Okay. Just open up and let that fear spill out.
Yes. Yes.
All right. And let some more of it go
Yes.
and bring up some more
Yes.
and let it leave.
Yes. I have some clarity.
Mm-hmm. What's your clarity?
I've been working on money goal, so I can see some picture of being financially independent, being able to enjoy money and being free about it.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a real benchmark other than financial independence to know that
Yes,
you're there?
I'm working on a smaller goal of a quarterly cash flow
Mm-hmm.
of $9,000.
Okay. Right. And can you have it?
When you say have it, it brings up more fear again.
Okay. See, the fear's in the way. If there was no fear there, you would
Yeah.
feel like it is yours. You would
Yes.
know it,
Yes.
right? It would just be your conviction.
Yes.
You'd feel it in every cell in your body.
Yes.
So let the fear go. And it's nothing to figure out, well, how do I get there? You let the fear go when you're there.
Yes.
And so bring it up. Just say yes to
Mm-hmm.
the fear so it can come up
Yes. Yes.
and welcome it up.
Yes.
And let that fear pass through.
Yes.
And let it pass through some more.
Yes. Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And could you get out of the way and let it all leave?
Yes.
And could you give yourself permission to fail?
Yes.
And could you give yourself permission to have the cash flow?
Yes.
And how do you feel now?
Nice and easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been releasing on this fear for last month, I guess. 24/7, and sometimes I get irritated about it and I start fighting with it because it's so much of fear. And I think I try to get separate from it at times, and I just get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It feels nice and clear.
Okay. Yeah. And what did it take to get unstuck?
Decision.
Yeah, that's it. And it took no time.
No, not
So
at all.
you weren't as far from the light as it seemed to be when you thought you were stuck.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, I was pointed out before, yeah, sure, we're all free, but it's just like we're looking this way. And when we're looking this way, it could seem that our goal is way far away. And all we have to do is just turn and look. It's already right there.
Makes sense.
And we got to look. We got to do what it takes
Yes.
to stop looking this way,
Yes.
right? And stop doing that to ourselves.
Yes.
All right, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tarita. Hey, Ray.
Hi, Chris. It's funny enough, it's only something I've just realised actually when we just on this call. I've had a really bad arm for the last few days, and I've tried to release it, but nothing's really worked. So today I was actually when there was coming on the call, I thought I'd go back over some of the things in the wealth manifestation. I did the
I got a solution for you. Stop telling your
the
arm
goal
is bad.
So I went through a video on goal setting and also on 5 steps to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on that, and I've just realised, when I sat down tonight, I've just realised my arms are right now. And wasn't one of the goals. So it's just because I've been releasing all these other stuff today, about 3 or 4 hours. That my
See, when you
arms
release on one thing, you release on everything. And
yeah.
bit by bit, you're lifting yourself up to get to a place where you can just knock them out without having to work on a goal.
Yeah, so the arm's fine now.
Yeah.
I only realised that seriously as I just sat down to watch it. I thought, it's not hurting now.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Just thought I'd let you know, it's a game for today.
Brilliant. All right, good job.
Thank you.
All right, Connie.
Hi, Chris. I'm really thankful. It just seems like whatever I decide I would like to have, I start moving towards it, and it just opens up to me. I do what I can do, and it just like opens up to me. I have this hobby where I like to really decorate for Christmas, and I like really exceptionally beautiful. I study all kinds of design and pictures and everything. Anyways, I just decided to start doing it myself, and it just opened up to where I started creating pretty beautiful things. And then a designer came into my life that she does things that are far better than any pictures I've ever seen. She did 2 arrangements for me, and oh my gosh, they are breathtaking. And just everything is more than what I could have thought of. I had some work done in the house. They charge me such little. I give them more than they ask for, because everything just happens so quickly and easily and more. And even some of my other goals, I realize that if I just keep walking towards them, if I just keep releasing every day on those, that I will have everything that I've ever wanted and more. There's a scripture in the Bible that means a lot to me. It says that we receive abundantly above what we could think or ask, according to the power that works within us. And to me, that releasing frees up that power to work within us and to create wonderful things in our lives.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's what I was talking about. Measuring your progress. See what you can demonstrate, what you could prove. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to demonstrate an abundant life. Demonstrate the harmony, where you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to make things happen. You just
Hmm.
release and have them happen. And when they do, it proves it out. It proves out, oh, maybe Lester's right. If Lester's right, then I can go all the way. And also what it proves out is what it is that you're really looking for, because it isn't, even though you're going for the goals themselves, those little manifestations aren't that important. It's how you feel the whole time as you're going through your day, right? As you're releasing, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. And then also too, I've been working on quieting the mind. And, like one master said, when you take a shower, I bring my mind and make sure that I have a quiet mind during that. And then when I eat, I notice my mind would go all over the place, and I keep bringing my mind and it's getting quieter and quieter. And also when I'm walking, I'll bring my mind back to feel my feet actually hitting the ground, and feeling it totally in the now. So that's been a big gain for me.
Wonderful. Now, what is your purpose? What is it that you're really going for?
Complete awakening, indeterminability, complete. That's my number one goal by far, is to be, self-realized, um, to go all the way.
Okay. And what you just described, this process of quieting your mind, and you see the goodness of it. This is a good way to measure it, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you could be honest with yourself. How thinking am I? How much am I
Mm-hmm.
indulging the mind and keeping it active and keeping it noisy versus doing these little things to quiet it?
Right. I kept noticing, my mind just wants to tell stories, just want, and, like when I quiet it, it'll figure out another story to try and get my attention. And I just, step back from that. It'll come up with another story and I've noticed it'll catch me, oh, well,
It's like a
that
little
story.
lobbyist. It's like lobbying, saying, hey, this is important.
Yeah. Oh, you don't like this one? I'll get you
Yeah,
another
then
one
the other
right
lobby
away.
group comes in.
Yeah, and I'm just through with the stories and it just talking. I wouldn't allow anyone else in my life or another relationship that, and then too, it says mean things and I just absolutely refuse to listen to that, I just say a lot and I do a lot of positive things. I tell myself how beautiful I am, and
Mhm.
just all kinds of things,
Good, good. But most importantly, it's just about quieting it.
Yes, absolutely.
So keep it simple. Just stick with that benchmark and stick with your purpose. Know where you're going. How long should it take you to get there? Honest question.
It takes no time.
Okay, then demonstrate that.
Okay.
I say if you could say it, then do it.
Actually, I feel, a quiet when my mind's really quiet and all of that, and I feel this bliss and this peace and this joy just bubbling up, which I do feel a lot. And if I have, I can just take one deep breath and feel that bliss and that happiness, and my my head, it feels like it's pulling me back. And it just feels like I just need to let go
Mhm.
to leave.
Yeah, let the whole thing go.
Yep.
Good. Well, thank you, Connie.
You're welcome.
All right, anybody else want to check in? And by the way, just a heads up, in January, I've got a special new course coming up. It's a very advanced course. It's called the Mind Freedom Course. And we're going to go into some deep work on pulling apart the programs that run in your mind, the programs that kind of keep you stuck and on automatic behaviors, where you just see yourself doing the same things. You just can't get out of these loops. This will help you really get a handle on how your mind operates, where these programs run, and knocking them out once and for all. I mean, completely eliminated them, not just continue walking around and go, you know, oh, I have a program, having this insight and talk about it. Well, I'm working on my program. No, we're not going to, we're going to focus on eliminating it, the program, once and for all. So you're done with it. You're not working on it. You're just completing the task of clearing that out of your mind, cleaning it up, making a blank space, a space for beingness, a space for presence. And so, yeah, keep an eye out for it. I'm not sure if it's on the website right now, but if you were on an email, I could give you the link so you could check that out. And I'll send out an email letting you know about that tomorrow so you can see the details about it. All right, Anna.
Hi, Kris.
Hi, how are you doing?
Well, lately, maybe about 10 days ago, I'm really facing a lot of resistance and fear.
Okay.
And and I release one day and feels lighter and feels more like I can have my goals. And the next day, I wake up in the middle of the night, and this feeling is just like they are stronger than me, that feels.
Okay. And how do you feel about that right now?
Yeah, I feel like a big clutch
Okay.
in my.
Keep it simple. Get in touch with
Yes.
that clutch.
Yes.
Can you open up
Yes.
the door right in front of that clutch?
It feels like I can't.
It's not that you can't, you won't. Open up a door.
Okay.
So you just imagine it. That's how powerful you are. If you imagine it, it opens up, right?
Yes.
Right. Now imagine some of that energy going out the door. Not too much, just a little bit.
Yes.
Right. And let a little bit more of it out.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
You feel it moving?
Yes.
Okay, so now open that door up wider.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And can you allow more of that energy to leave out the door?
Yes.
And welcome up some more energy and let it go out the door.
Yes.
And let it go some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And how do you feel now?
Yeah, it feels like I'm more present.
Mm-hmm. Now, from this place of presence, you can see things more clearly. You got some more discrimination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now tell me some of your gains. What gains have you had lately?
Oh, I feel resistance now.
Do you have some resistance to gains?
When I was thinking about the gains, that just resistance
Okay, well, just let it come up.
appeared.
Don't try to
Yes.
figure it out. Keep that
Yes.
door open. You still have that door open?
Yes.
Okay, now watch the resistance go out the door.
Yes.
See, this is like what I was talking about before. There's no failure. You just take a step, and then the next step is revealed. You take that step, and the next step is revealed. Right? See, as long as you keep stepping, eventually you're going to get to your destination. And now you have some resistance coming up. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And every step you take, you have a choice. I'm going to freak out about it and stop, or I'm going to move forward, take the next step. And going down this path, it's not complicated. We don't have to figure out what these steps are. That next step, it's always right in front of our nose. So could you let go of that resistance, bring it up, and let it leave?
Yes.
And could you let it go some more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And more?
Yes.
All right? And welcome it all up. Just let it all come up and let it leave like a hot air balloon, up, up, and away.
Yes.
How do you feel now?
Yes. Feels more calm.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about gains?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still triggering something, some resistance.
All right, well, can you get bigger than it?
Yes.
Right. And what are some gains? Tell me.
Um, well, lately I really have feeling about money that I have more than enough.
Good.
Yeah, and I don't know how to deal with that. So I think that I'm spending. Just I find a ways to get rid of it.
Okay. Well, and that's something that's good to notice. See, talk about programs. When I talk about like these programs in the mind. See, it's just a
Mhm.
program that kicks in that says, well, I can't have too much money.
Yes, like I
I've
can
done
have
this.
more than.
I know a lot of people do this. Like you get some
Mhm.
money in, it's like more than what you typically have. And what do? You go on a shopping spree.
Uh-huh.
Right. And 2 days later, you're right back to, what you have in the bank.
Yeah, that is
Right? And
happening
you
to
do it
me.
without thinking.
Mhm.
So once you notice a program, that's the first step to, okay, I can now start picking that thing apart.
Mhm.
So just to keep things simple right now, can you let go of wanting to figure out, how to keep your money and, and what to do about this sense of having enough, where you're at now,
Yes.
right? Could you let go of wanting to know what to do about it?
Yes.
And could you let go of trying to figure it out?
Yes.
Could you let go of pondering it?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting to control it?
Yes.
And is there any fear?
Some comfort.
Some uncomfort? Okay, just welcome it up. And you
Yes.
don't need to figure that out.
Right.
It's just pushing
Yeah.
down on some energy. Let go pushing down. It'll just come out.
Yes.
And if you weren't pushing on it, you wouldn't even feel it coming out. It would just be gone. Poof.
Yes.
Okay. But just let it come up. Nice and easy and let it leave.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And let some more of it go.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels lighter.
Good. Now, are you okay with having more than enough?
Okay, resistance again.
Okay. Welcome it up and let that resistance go. Just
Yeah.
a feeling. Don't have to figure it out. Just energy. Open up and let that
Yes.
energy pass through. Watch it leave. Whatever it looks like to you.
Yes.
And let that energy leave some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes. There's a thought if I have too much, people won't love me.
Okay. Can you let go of wanting their approval? Just go for
Yeah.
it. Give them permission to hate you. Right? Let go of wanting their approval.
Yes.
See, that is exactly what's keeping that program in place. It's your thought. You're the programmer. You put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it has all these layers on top of it. But when you get right to that first thought that put the whole program in there, this is how you can remove a whole behavior, a whole pattern in your life, or a whole glass ceiling that is keeping you at a certain income level. Programs. Right? But you put
Yeah.
that thought in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just say yes to it.
Yes.
Right? Just like we did with all the feelings. When you say yes to them, they leave. Same with these thoughts and programs. When you say yes
Yes.
to it, part of you is you're acknowledging you're the master, you're the programmer. So just say yes to the whole thing
Yes.
and let it leave.
Yes.
And say yes to it some more and let it leave.
Yes.
And say yes to it some more.
Yes.
And some more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels like it's leaving.
Okay, now just let it leave. Nothing to figure out about that. Just let the whole thing disappear.
Yes.
And just let yourself be in a void. Just go quiet. Allow there to be nothing. Let the whole thing disappear.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
And disappear some more. Just right where you are, just disappear.
Yes.
Then how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels like.
Now, can you allow
Yeah.
yourself to have more than enough?
Yes.
And even more than that?
Yes.
And how easy is that?
Yeah. Okay.
It's more comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And see, it's natural. You don't have to program anything positive. You don't have to replace the programs. Just remove them. And
Yeah.
everything positive is right where you are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. All right, thank you, Anna. Good work.
Thanks.
All right, so Jim.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Um, I want to know how to release when I don't know what I want, or how to set the benchmark.
Well, you just decide, and you could just
Like
set.
I know I want to be financially free,
Okay. Well,
but I don't know how to set the benchmarks, like the
well, what I
small
would do,
goals.
well, what I would do is just you'll have to go for complete financial freedom, but you can go for like an extra 10 or 20,000 in the bank, right?
Mm,
That'll be a step towards financial freedom, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. And just set a small goal so that you could prove it. Now, with that in mind, is there an amount that you can choose and really feel good about going for it? Like, hey, I can do that. Where I'm willing to really work at it and prove it. What amount would that be?
Let's say to start with just 10,000.
Okay. All right, good. And how do you feel about having 10,000 right now?
How?
Okay.
Like how would I get it?
Okay. And look, you see, your mind doesn't have an answer.
Right.
So using it to find an answer is a waste of time. And how is a waste of time. And it's just going to distract you. You could sit with how forever. So first
Yes.
is, could you let go of wanting to figure that out?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting to know how right now? Just right now in this moment. Because your mind doesn't have an answer anyway,
Yes.
right? And can you see that you've been disapproving of yourself? Because it's you holding in
Yes.
mind, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't know how. I don't have any resources or any way to do it. It's just your picture. You're telling yourself you're no good. And you could probably feel like resistance and beating yourself up. Are you?
Yes.
Okay. And who's doing that?
I'm doing it.
And does that get you anywhere when you do that?
No.
Okay. So now you can change your direction, just like that plane changing its flight. So there's no good or bad about what you're doing, but now you see the results and now you can alter your course so you can get to your destination. Instead of flying over the whole
Yes.
Pacific, we're going to make some stops. So you'll stop in Hawaii first at the 10,000
Mm.
and then on to Alaska or whatever. So first, could you let go of disapproving of yourself?
Yes.
Could you let go of disapproving of yourself some more?
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
And could you let go of disapproving of yourself a little bit more?
Yes.
And a little bit more.
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 Yes.
And even more.
Yes.
And how does that feel?
I'm not even thinking about the money.
Okay.
Like
And why do
it's
you want
just
the money?
gone out of my mind.
Yeah. And why do you want it anyway? So you could feel better about yourself. You could feel more successful, more secure, like you
Secure,
have more
yes.
options and all that, right?
Right.
Basically, you're just wanting to feel good about yourself. And you could feel good about yourself right now being your choice. Or could you give
Am
yourself
I not supposed to think about my goal? Like when I'm
going right
feeling
back in
good,
trying to figure
it's
it out? But look, why do you want your goal? so you could feel good, so you could feel love, right?
Yes.
So let's just take a shortcut to that you're really looking for and give yourself some love. Could you give yourself some approval right now?
Yes.
And could you give yourself a little bit more approval
Yes.
and some more?
Yes.
And could you give yourself some more approval
Yes.
and some more
Yes.
and some more
Yes.
and some more
Yes.
and even more?
Yes.
And how does that feel?
Good.
Okay. Now, does it feel more possible to have your goal? Just check your intuition. How do you feel about that? Is it more possible?
Like I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Feels like I don't even need to think about it.
Okay. Well, that's a step in the right direction.
Mm.
Now, here's the thing. See, it's about demonstrating it. And what you see is right now, if you think about demonstrating it, your mind doesn't have any solution for you. So you have a choice. You could stay with your mind as it is right now and be no different than you are. Or you could keep releasing. And as you see, it moves you to a new place. Would you rather be here where you feel more carefree and lighter, or in a place where you feel kind of stuck and not knowing where to go?
Yes, I feel like I'm not stuck anymore
Yeah,
in this moment.
yeah. And so as you continue working on your goal and releasing just whatever comes up, then that's how you find your way there. And it can come in any number of ways. You can see an opportunity, get into a business and actually work and create something and create it. You can manifest it. Or you
Yeah.
can find that it just shows up. It comes to you one way or the other. Who cares how it comes? But as you release, you'll find that answer. You'll find the answer along the way that's right for you. Because at some point you'll decide, I'm having it. That's really what it comes down to. Does that make
I
sense?
have experienced some gains as well.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Like,
Please share.
like well, I'm not out of hell, but before when I experienced any trouble, or I would run away from it. I would try to at least run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel I'm in acceptance. I don't try to run away from the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I accept it and I face it. And recently I encountered like really big trouble with a bully, but I didn't run away, and
Nice.
I felt like what's the word, like like I had a force in me to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Power. I felt powerful.
Yeah. That's very powerful. That's huge.
Yes.
Great.
And I feel like I'm getting stronger with time, with
Mm-hmm.
releasing.
Yeah. Good. See, like I said, the results are measurable.
Yes.
And the same way you can set that goal for 10,000, and measure yourself and keep yourself accountable and see yourself all the way to manifesting it. And then once you do
Yeah.
that, you go, well, gee, if I could do 10,000, I could do 50,000. If I could do 50,000, I could do 250,000. Right? See, this is how you can take these steps and achieve the big picture, the financial freedom.
Okay.
Right? So good. Keep releasing on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. And thank you for sharing. All right, Dimitri.
Oi, Chris.
Hey,
Hey, brother. Yeah, so
by the
you
way, thanks for the good idea with that programs course.
thank you for, yeah, I feel like you answered my, yeah, thank you.
Literally asked. And it was a great idea. It was, it's like, oh, okay, let's dust off some of these, these old tools here and, this methodology of really going deep and, let's take a deep dive.
Is it really that simple? All we got to do is ask.
Just ask.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I've been just going through all the courses that we have in the members area back and forth on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Huge highs, feeling completely blissed out. Nothing's there. One would say oneness, go outside. Things seem surreally balanced at a peace. And then you have those times where I'm just like, fudge, 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 fudge.
Yeah, but that's just a reality check to say, okay, now I got some more stuff to let go of. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to sit here and go fudge over it or bring it up,
I was so pissed at myself that I couldn't get into, that I didn't have the funds to do the
money alchemy?
sit on my ass and trade stuff. I mean, hopefully in the future we'll be able to release that on some just release the course itself, not live, but that type of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
sounds like a
Look,
good
it's just a
maximum thing
step
to
at a
do.
time. So you get yourself there, and we got the whole thing. We're recording the whole thing. So who knows what we'll do with it? So there'll be some solutions. There's no, never too late. Anyway.
So my question is this: is like, I'm back in business. I found another space. I've been out of the loop in regards to working with people. In a sense, I feel like I'm living in a dream. Everything is very, very surreal right now. Nothing makes sense. I mean, you wake up at the same time every day. It's light. There's a full moon. Nothing makes sense lately. Everything is just all over the place. So I guess the reason why my question to you is that, like, is there a way to maybe crank up the volume on all of this? I mean, the only reason I really want to do anything is just to spend all my time releasing.
It kind of goes back to benchmarks. And when Lester talked to the graduates, a lot of them were in a very high state, a state of acceptance, just going around where life is harmonious. Life is just a dream, right? Merrily, merrily, merrily going down the river. So he gave them something very concrete. He would say things like, well, can you just think and have things happen? And just set goals, do this demonstration. That's what he did with himself. He said, it's not what it's not what I say, it's what can I do? It's in a nice place to be nice and light and dreamlike, but can you change the dream? That's a definite benchmark. And you've done that, like when you dream at night, right? When things aren't working, you're in one state and you're just like, poof, I'm off in another place right now. Screw that. I just change it. And you could change this reality.
How?
What does that bring to mind for you?
If anything, I guess it would be control.
Okay.
Just right on. It seems like just right on the edge where you think things are happening, but sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
I want control. And what part of it's wanting to control? It's that ego, right? Do you want to let that ego run the show?
Ego's an annoying asshole.
Is that
With
ego
weird tastes?
Yeah. So let go of wanting control. And let go of the asshole. Let it go some more. Let yourself be out of control. Let yourself be a nobody. Right? Just let it go a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. Sammy's laughing at us. But Lester called us all assholes. He said all the graduates. So he said AH, but you know what he's saying. Because another way he put it was, we're all gods acting like goddamn fools, and we're doing it stubbornly. We're saying, no, I want to hold on to my ego. I want to hold on to my hate. I want to hold on to my separateness. And we're digging our heels in, saying no to freedom. And all of us are doing that. If we would just stop being an AH, we just flip the whole thing around. We would be selfless. So could you let go of wanting control?
Yeah.
Right? Could you let it go some more?
Yeah.
And some more. A little bit more. And a little bit more. And how does that feel?
Smooth.
And could you let yourself just fall out of control? Just free fall.
Yes.
And could you let Dimitri dissolve and disappear just a little bit?
Yeah.
And let that go some more. Just get a feeling of that identity, that whole thing. It's just like one big feeling. You just let that dissolve. A little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And surrender to disappearing. And give yourself permission to be nothing. And surrender to being nothing. And what problems do you have when you're nothing? None. There. And now it's easier to see, well, why doing anything other than that is being an asshole. It's just all me versus just disappearing and experiencing the real joy. Everything that you're looking for and have been missing. Am I right? Yeah. And then so now you can make some benchmarks to say, well, what's it going to take to let go of all my identification? To let go of all my sense of being separate? That's something that you can measure, right? You can see yourself grow and have a complete, a total destination to let go of all separation, right? And it feels good every time you go towards that destination. So yeah, there you go. And once you have that set, nice and easy and fast, as fast as you want it to be.
When we get in these states of nothingness, and of course, we're seeing things on the inside that we'll never be able to verbalize. And I understand part of the process is the self-awareness that comes from within just by releasing. Now, is there a way of just cranking up the volume on this? Is it just involved just releasing all day long, laying on your back? Or do you have to go
know what your destination
engage?
Know what you're shooting for?
I'm tired of this shit already.
Okay, well, just keep moving towards it. If you're determined, you'll find the way. But trying to figure out is you're just spinning around. You see that?
Yeah.
Could you let go of wanting to figure it out?
Yeah.
What you need to release on. Right? Lester didn't have a whole plan and 5 different ways of releasing. He just knew what he was shooting for. And he followed the bouncing ball. The problem is we want to know. And then that's where we make it too complicated. And then we get ourselves all tangled up. Right? So could you let go of wanting to figure it out?
Yeah.
And more. And could you just surrender? You let beingness show you. All right, it's out of your hands, see, right? You gotta let go of wanting to control it. Could you let that go? A little bit? And could you let it go some more?
Yeah.
And some more? And some more? And how does that feel?
Nonchalant.
Nice. Yeah. So there's nothing to figure out. You just do it. That's the trick. All right, good.
Thank you, bro.
All right, see you in January. And if y'all want to know more about it, like I said, it's not on the front page of the website yet, but at the very least, make sure you're on the email list. You can go to powerofquiet.com and on the front page, sign up on the email list, and you'll get all the information about what we're going to be doing here in January in the 6-week course. And also, for those of you watching this on the replay, check out the description below. I'll have all the links. I'll have the links to the website so you can get on the email list, and also the links to this course too. But it's just kind of like a heads up, letting you know what's coming up here. Powerful stuff. All right, Horatio.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. I have some technical questions in order to keep releasing.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 questions. First, it's when when we feel bad, we do releasing in order to feel good or in order to accept that we are feeling bad. Because there are sometimes when I'm doing releasing, I feel all that clutch and all that, let's say, negative feelings, but I'm waiting them to pass, so then I will feel good again. And I don't think this is
We never get to our destination if we only release in order to feel good. Of course, when we do release, we do feel good. But also, it's not about accepting feeling bad, because that's just in the mind. If there's any real answer to your question, it's release so you can be imperturbable.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's okay if you have the feeling, and it's okay if you let the whole thing go and be done with it. It's okay either way, and you feel like it's possible to be in
Okay,
it, and it's possible to be out of it, where you are in control. That's the difference.
so
The
it's okay
difference
to
is
do.
it puts you in charge.
So it's okay to do releasing in order to feel good, not only to accept what it is.
Yeah. The most important thing is just to release, and release with imperturbability as your goal. That's why it's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and
So how is your releasing going? Let me ask you.
I'm doing releasing in intervention mode, let's say, when I'm feeling something that I don't like it.
Okay.
I try to feel it more and accept it and do whatever I need to do it anyway.
Okay. Well, it sounds like your goal is to feel good. And that's okay, because I mean, that's the way I have done releasing a lot over the years, was just to get myself out of the fire. I was only motivated when things weren't going so well. But as you keep releasing, then your goal will get bigger. You'll realize there's so much more potential. And then it'll occur to you, well, why keep going up and down like this when I could just go up and stay up?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's up to you. I mean, I can't make that goal for you. It's up to what you really want. What is it that you want?
Well, a similar question to the previous one. It's we are doing releasing for the sake of imperturbability or for the specific objective, like you said in the beginning of the webinar.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
Well, imperturbability is a good objective, and it is concrete. You can measure yourself, and you can set benchmarks. You can do it with specific people or situations to release so that they never bother you again, no matter what they do. That's a benchmark, isn't it?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can have the objective to be imperturbable or to get rid of some problems, both sides.
Yeah. And plus, you know that when you get imperturbable, that's how you manifest things easy, because you're just clear. Your mind isn't consumed with the negative stuff.
Yes, and the last short question is, what's more important, to release or to do the necessary effort in order to...
You mean like physical work, getting something done?
Yes, like...
Do both. Who said that you can't release while you take action? That's a very good thing to do, is take action and release. Because as you take action, it's going to bring up your resistance. It's going to, give you a lot to work on. And then just take action as necessary until you can prove that you don't have to take action.
Yeah. I had some moments when things happen without me doing anything. And I have some proofs for me that...
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for clarifications.
All right. So how's your releasing going then? Let me ask you.
Well, I'm at half game, let's say. Now I'm more okay with the present. In the past, when something bad was happening, I was not relaxed, let's say. Now, even if bad things happen around, I'm more relaxed. It's like that pictures on Facebook when in the back the house is burning and I'm okay, something like that. And now I need also to work for the future also, because I can accept the present and to feel okay even if it's everything going bad. But I keep thinking about the future and how I will achieve specific goals. So for the future, I'm not the same relaxed as I'm for the present.
Okay. So are you trying to figure out
Of
what to do
course,
about the future? And does your mind have an
yes,
answer?
a lot of answers, but
A bunch of garbage. If you had an answer, you
but
wouldn't
I have,
keep thinking about it. It would be done.
yeah, I have a lot of answers, but I don't have a decision. And all this ping pong
So,
game.
okay, so you're not deciding, which means you're just deciding to sit around and figure it out instead.
Yes.
That's what you're deciding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, could you let go of wanting to figure it out? Because that obviously isn't getting you anywhere, right?
Yes.
Right. So could you let that go? Could you let go of thinking about it?
Mm-hmm.
And could you let go of thinking about what to do?
Yes.
Right? And see if you're disapproving of your situation. How are you going to change it by disapproving of it?
Not changing.
Okay, that says not changing. And who's doing that? Who's disapproving of it?
Myself.
Okay, so now you could decide I'm going to be positive and love the situation, or I'm going to keep on hating it and keep on hating it because it's never changing. That's no way to go, is it? So what do you decide?
To accept and love the actual situation.
Okay, so first, could you let go disapproving of it? Because you can't love it while you're simultaneously disapproving of it, right?
Yes.
So could you let go disapproving of it first?
Yeah.
And could you let go disapproving of it some more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it some more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And could you let go disapproving of it some more?
Yes.
And some more? How's that feel?
It's more quiet, more less fight, let's say.
Good. But could you give it some acceptance and love? Just as it is.
Yes.
And could you love it a little bit more?
Yes.
And a little bit more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And a little bit more?
Yes.
And a little bit more?
Yes.
Right? How does that feel?
It's getting me smile.
Okay. Could you give yourself some love? Because no matter what situation you're in it with yourself,
Yes.
right? So could you love yourself? If you love yourself fully, what does it matter what situation you're in?
Right.
It's going to feel good all the time, right? So this is a way of taking command of the whole thing. Could you love yourself?
Yes.
A little bit more. And a little bit more.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Yes.
How does that feel?
Lighter.
Hey, now, can you surrender to that light? Can you let the light bring you the answer? See, that takes all the responsibility away from your mind. All right? It's not up to my mind. I'm just going to let it be up to the lightness.
Mm-hmm.
You just hand it all over to the lightness. And a little bit.
My mind is going. Where are you going?
Okay, we'll just let it question it.
Yes.
It's just making noise.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take it seriously. Just say, okay, yeah, you could do your thing. Can you surrender to the light?
Yes.
And surrender to it some more.
Yes.
And some more. And a little bit more.
Yes.
And how do you feel now?
It's something very strange. It's like now I don't care, but I know that after a couple of moments, my mind will go again. Okay, so what's your answer?
Okay, well, that's fine. Never mind the future. Never mind if it comes up again. At least for this moment, you created some space.
Yeah, now I'm like,
And guess what? You cleared out some negativity permanently.
yes,
You did some real work here, and there's some more there. But
yes.
what did it take you to get here in the first place? How long did it take? 7 minutes, 10 minutes at the most? Right?
Yes.
So remember what you did to get here. And so what if you fall back? So what if more of the noise and problems come up? Right? If you keep doing it, that mass of noise and problems is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like, oh, it's just a little tiny thing. And you could just go poop.
So the present matter most.
Like a, like a thing you take out of your nose.
I didn't understand.
All right. That's it. Keep it simple.
Okay, so the present mattered the most, whatever it comes after a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just do the same thing and you'll see. You'll get bigger than it, bigger and bigger.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. Good work. All right. Well, this was a great evening. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and being here. All right. So I'll probably see if I could schedule something right around the end of the year in a couple of weeks. We'll do another follow-up group coaching session, and we'll do some work on cleaning up this crazy 2020 and moving onwards and upwards. All right. So good seeing all your smiling faces and hearing your gains. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.